Welcome to Lime Rock, ladies and gentlemen, and it is time for Exxon Supreme GT racing action here at Lime Rock Park, the beautiful racing facility. Cars are already on track for their pace lap, and this is going to be a great race. The starting grid coming your way, the starting field, as a matter of fact, and on the pole for this one, it's Stu Hayner, who set pole in the Chevrolet Camaro number 91. He is going to be on the inside of that front row. Next to him, Jason Priestley and Scott Maxwell sharing the Ford Cobra, David Hobbs.
And of course, behind them, Doc Bundy and Paul Newman in the Ford Panos. And behind them, Cohen and Halsmer in the first of the BMW M3 GT3.
Boy, GT3 qualifying 4th overall. Great job. Behind them, the winner here in GT3 last year, Henry Taleb, Jim Pace, and Rob Wilson. Next to him, outside row number 3, will be the fastest, or one of the quicker GT1 cars, Daytona winner Jochen Rohr and Andy Pilgrim, 0-1 in the Porsche.
And of course, Derek Hill, son of Phil Hill, world champion, will be starting alongside with Quiros in the BMW M3. Behind them, Mark Diaz and Dieter Quester, also in BMW M3.
All right, and we are coming through the diving turn, and we are on board with the BMW as we are coming up, looking for the green contact, and that is Rohr Pilgrim 0-1 mount. The Porsche getting it all wrong. Lucky not to take out more of the field, but came across track and clouded the barrier on the outside. And the rest of the field going into turn number 1. One would suspect here we might see this rain back in again unless there's no debris on track. Field going through Big Bend, but again, very interesting start here. And Hayner hanging on to the lead. But look at the Nissan battling, moving up for 2nd overall.
Wow, going from one side of the field to the other at the start, from the front of the grid, almost the front of the grid, and never touched another car.
Serious damage to the right front corner of Rohr's car. There are the double yellows. We are, in fact, under a full course caution here as we try and get this one underway. And obviously some problem. We're going to take a look at what happened here. Again, coming down through the diving turn, looking for the green flag, and they're accelerating hard, and Rohr, oh, he just went too far, it looked like, off to the inside of the track.
Rohr was looking for a gap there. He started off on one side of the road, weaved his way through the paddock and through the pack, and really paid the penalty big time there.
A little bit different angle here. We're going to see him come right over toward us, drop that tire, and now there he goes and clouts the barrier. And again, that's one of the Porsche turbos. He may have that turbo spooled up and a big head of steam, wanted to make the most of it. Here we go again. Watch the pace car in, and here's the move.
Also, he gets on the grass, which exacerbates the problem. See that? Just as he's trying to turn, he hits the grass with his rear wheel.
Oh, and he got that barrier, and of course got it pretty good with the right side of the car. You can see some serious damage to the right front end. We hadn't noticed that before. That was the Panos.
The Panos
locked it up big time. And there's the reason we're under yellow right now. Jochen Rohr's wounded Porsche sitting there, the pace car, bringing the field around. Again, under yellow. We're going to be back here in Lime Rock in just a minute. Coverage of the SportsCar GT Championship on the Motorsports Hour is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more champions trust, and by the new Motel 6. The new Motel 6 is renovating across America. Call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6 for reservations. Still under yellow here at Lime Rock as a result of Jochen Rohr's big moment in the 0-1 Rohr Motorsports Porsche. They've got the car off track and back into the pit and paddock area. So we believe we should be seeing a green perhaps as soon as next time by. Let's check in with Calvin Fish. Cal?
Brad Kettler is the crew chief for this car, and Brad, it seems that you don't know the problem, but hopefully you can get the car fixed. You are leading the championship currently.
Yeah, that's correct. If we can get it to run again and get it safe so we can put it back in the race, that's exactly what we're going to do. We don't know what's wrong with it right now, but we're trying to get it towed in so we can have a look.
Okay, well, Bob has an update on this story.
Jochen Rohr is out of the car, and we're glad to see all right. That was a pretty good crunch there. Describe for us what happened as you were coming down toward the green.
We were coming towards the green. The pace was picked up a little bit, and then suddenly it slowed down. The cars in front of me veered right and left. I tried to avoid the Nissan in front of me, came over to the right, and I guess I got into the dirt a little bit with the right rear wheel, and that spun me around.
How disappointing is this for you? Because, of course, it's right at the beginning of the race. You didn't even get to do anything.
Well, that's extremely disappointing, especially since we are leading in the points right now in GTS1, and that will set us back quite a bit.
Big setback today for the 0-1 team and heavy damage to the front end.
And the field picking up some steam coming out of the diving turn. The Dodge Viper pace car in, and look at the run that Stu Hayner got. That's the Priestley Maxwell Ford that actually made it into the lead before the yellows came out, and that Camaro taking a run at it. Not quite enough. The Panos third, and then the number 77 Halsmer driven. We're on board with that car right now. Again, a GTS 3 car, 4th overall, and it's really the first season that this team has been running. They are having a great start, but they've got company right behind them. Second in class, the winning Nissan from last year.
A tremendous qualifying effort on the part of Pete Halsmer here in this privately entered BMW M3, and of course leading the GT3 class by miles.
And again, there's that pack up right there. Boy, it's certainly working into the chicane. Those GT3 cars, their nimbleness working to their advantage right there, Sam.
It's a track where if your car is perfectly balanced through the fast turns, you can really make a good lap time. But then what happens in traffic if you don't have the power down the straight? That's what's going to be interesting to see when Pete Halsmer starts to have to lap people. What happens then?
Good look there at the Red Bull machine. Now, Halsmer ran with the factory team last year, and then he and Matt Cohen breaking apart. Look at this. There's Taleb down to the inside of Halsmer. That's a pass for the lead in the GTS3 division. And last year, it sort of worked the other way around. The BMW loped out to a fairly big lead. The Nissan ran him down, took it away at the end. Nissan going for the lead early here.
Another big crash there. That looks like the I'm not quite sure where that is, but whatever it is, it's not very nice. Driver's out.
Driver's out.
Away.
Wow, there's an awful lot of whatever that is.
It's car number 18.
The S3 machines, the GTS3 cars. Number 18 is the Bossino David Loring Mazda RX-7, and apparently they're real concerned. There's some smoke. There was, I think, some fire extinguisher had been put on that car, and there's some smoke still pouring out of the cockpit of that machine.
David Loring was driving that car, I believe, the Mazda there at the start of this race. What a shame.
You can see it right there. Big flame in the left rear corner.
This brings out a full course yellow, the second one.
No wonder he was such a hurry to get out.
Yeah, obviously. And, of course, everybody behind him that's catching their attention big time. You don't exactly know what's going to happen. Apparently it's out, but they're going to be looking at that very carefully. And the safety car there. So the second yellow, first one due to a wreck, and this one it looked like something just maybe a fitting broke or something caught fire, and had to pull off, get him out of the car. First concern, certainly we saw him running away, so he's all right.
Because if Jochen Rohr's car can be put together, this is just exactly what they need, another long caution period to give them time to rebuild that car, although I don't think they'll be going anywhere with it.
It's amazing, as hard as Rohr's cars hit, it didn't seem to have sustained that much damage.
Those Porsches.
It wasn't bad. That right front corner, perhaps, something to keep an eye on that car, was fairly damaged. All right, well, again, under yellow, we're going to take a little break here, kind of settle things in, and there's David Loring making a quick egress out of that machine. We'll be back here at Lime Rock in a minute. Welcome back to Lime Rock in the Dodge Dealers Grand Prix. It's Exxon Supreme GT racing action going on right now under yellow once again. And there's a good reason for it. Take a look here. Watch that number 18 Mazda. Look at the flames emanating from that left rear corner. And that's the reason that we are yellow. The driver out and somewhat okay. Standing by with Bob Gerald. Bob?
David Loring is indeed out of the car, and David, a scary incident down there. How are you feeling as we get restarted here?
Well, something flared up in the car coming out of the S's, and I called the guys and I told them I was on fire, but I'd try and get it back to the pits. And then up on top of the hill, it flared up again. I pulled the fire system then, and then at the bottom of the hill, something happened, and the car just filled up with smoke, so I just bailed out.
Well, we hope that you get to feeling better here. The paramedics are arriving here momentarily, and in the meantime, some volunteers continuing to pour some cold water over the left elbow of David Loring right now. We're glad to see that he is, as I believe David Hobbs put it, somewhat okay.
Yeah, good news indeed, obviously, and tough break. Take a look at this now. This is a move to the lead by P.L. Newman down the inside in the Panos. And Jason Priestley, a couple of people who have really made their living in different forms of employ than racing, but doing a good job at the front here.
Great move there. Perfectly timed pass into the Big Bend. That's the overtaking spot of all things here. Took away the place from Jason Priestley, so 2 stars lying in second and third at the moment.
The Panos is just one of the great new cars. You see it there with the interesting air intakes. They ducked right over the tires almost, then back out the side. With the bodywork off, it's a beautiful and very interestingly laid out car, built with a lot of influence, of course, by the Reynard company.
And obviously plenty quick, and being chased right now by that silver Mustang. Jason Priestley on board, and standing by with his crew chief is our Calvin Fish.
Well, Scott Maxwell is actually the co-driver with Jason Priestley on this Multimatic machine, and it seems as though Jason's done an excellent job this season.
Yeah, he's running second right now, but he's doing everything we're telling him, and what can you say? He's got the lead at the start, so no complaints.
What sort of pace are these guys running? Is it what you expected, or is it a little quicker than you thought?
No, I mean, it's, Calvin, it's a sprint race. We have 2 stints, and we got fresh tires at the pit stop, so you just go as fast as you can go and hope you can stay up there.
It should be quite a battle when Scott gets behind the wheel and goes up against Doc Bondi in that Panos.
Well, keep in mind, Jason Priestley made his debut in a GTS level, a GTS 1 level car at the most recent race at Road Atlanta, and obviously he's adapted very quickly indeed. Newman may be leading, but he's sure not leaving him.
Well, Newman, though, consider how old he is, late 70s, hasn't driven for a couple of years. He just started getting back into the sport this spring with a couple of tests at Road Atlanta. He found that he still loved it. That's why he's out on the track now. But I think he knows also that he's driving a car which, fingers crossed, is very safe. It has an enormous carbon fiber structure that includes the windshield base and the sort of a hoop in which he sits. It looks like one of the safest cars built yet. It's a marvelous car.
Superb, and of course the car chasing is a tube frame car, so a couple of different chassis designs when we think about it. Another car that is being worked on very adamantly right now is the Yoke and Roar machine. Bob Gerald?
Yeah, they are really making an attempt to get Yoke and Roar back out there. We thought that they were going to be done for the day after that initial impact. I just talked with Yoke, and he still thinks that the chances are slim that they could get back out, and he thinks that they're maybe 20 minutes away. But I think the crew might think that they're only about 5 or 10 minutes away from getting back out onto the racetrack as they continue with a big tape job and right now working with the brakes on the right front. So we will continue to monitor this situation. Andy Pilgrim has moved down, and I believe that Andy Pilgrim would probably jump in the seat when and if the 01 car gets back out.
Sam, we are seeing about as clear evidence as possible that racing is, we forget it sometimes, is a team sport.
It is. Well, Roar is in the dredging business, so he may be trying to dredge up a last chance. Man from Cincinnati, of course.
Well, if there is a silver lining here, the point lead they have in the GTS 1 division is substantial, and so they can afford to give up a few points, or they can even garner a couple here before the end of the day. Will certainly help. But Paul Newman is absolutely flying in that Panos GT. Car got its maiden win on these shores, certainly at its home track, if you will, at Road Atlanta. But Doc Bundy has indicated that this is continuing to be a development process, and SportsCar, the series itself, continues to figure out just what weight and where the car should run.
This particular car, along with a whole team of them, is going to go to Le Mans in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time. And that's what they're doing now, putting a lot of development time into this car.
All right, Newman continuing to lead. There's Priestley as they head into turn number 1. Hewling coming up in a while. We'll be back here at Lime Rock in a minute. Welcome back to Lime Rock, everybody. And again, a major incident here, and we are under a full course yellow. That's the number 97 GTS 3 Porsche. And that is Dirk Layer behind the wheel of that car, still behind the wheel of the car. You can see the SportsCar medical team there, and let's take a look at what happened. You saw it. He came out of that diving turn, and he hit that inside tire wall a ton. Looks like a little oil fire there, but boy, he came off at a significant rate of speed.
Whoa, he came down there and just laid into that on the left-hand side.
This is your worst nightmare, David, to hit on that side with no diminution of speed at all. You see him there slumped in the very bottom of the windshield there. They were able to put the fire out quickly. Good work on that. Now the job of extricating the driver begins.
And obviously you can see that, yeah, indeed with the fire, they continue to be very wary of what's going on there. A lot of fluid coming out of that. A lot of that from the fire extinguishers itself. All right, and Bundy ways back in terms of running order, but again, they've pitted. Everybody out front right now are teams that have not yet made that stop, and leading right now is the number 80 machine that had qualified back in 10th. Dave Perel and the driver, Terry Borsler, a very talented driver, but there is the Panos, and that is now being driven, of course, by Doc Bundy, who, along with Andy Wallace, brought it to that win at Road Atlanta in the most recent race, and Bundy wasting no time.
He's got a lot of cars to pull through, of course, but on the other hand, a lot of those cars, too, are going to stop yet. So, obviously, no panic setting in at this stage. The Panos, obviously, a very, very, very quick car. It's a beautiful car, beautifully constructed. I mean, it really is an incredible piece of machinery and wonderfully engineered and obviously extremely quick.
And Terry Borschler doing everything he can to stay hard at it up front. Number 19 is out there as well, and that is Brian Horncoat from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and they are having a great race. There now is Stu Hayner in the number 91 Camaro, the pole sitter. He is now behind the wheel. They've stopped, and that silver and orange Mustang working its way through number 27. They have also stopped. Priestley is out, and Scott Maxwell in. Oh, almost collected the back of that Porsche. He's trying anything he can to find his way around. He's losing touch with Hayner.
And Hayner, of course, is running very quick. Scott Maxwell gets past Porsche number 41 there. That's Chiavelli. Of course, they haven't stopped yet either. All down to that rising turn. Very, very, very difficult turn this, but of course they put the chicane at the top to slow these cars down just a little bit. A lot of traffic out here this afternoon. We've got three cars, GT1, GT2, GT3. Obviously the Panos is a GT1. The GT3 cars qualified extremely well here. A couple of BMW M3s are right at the front.
Look at this. Here's Jochen Rohr's car. He, of course, crashed this car at the start of the race. They've been working on it ever since. The extended yellows, because of the second accident, have given them a chance to get back. They're leading the championship in terms of points, so this could mean a lot.
Both drivers, Jochen Rohr and Andy Pilgrim, leading the points, who both drive that car. So they want to try and dredge up any points they possibly can this afternoon, and just had a long, long stop.
And that would be Pilgrim now behind the wheel, obviously, as they're hoping to make it all the way to the finish with this battle up front. Uh-oh, though, that second-place car got it all wrong, and it almost came around on him, and that's allowed Hayner already moved up into third and Maxwell into fourth. Boy, they wasted no time working back through the pack, and they're chasing that number 19 machine down, and I don't know how long that car is going to stay out front. As a matter of fact, Hayner wasting no. Yep, got him in the diving turn. Hayner now should move up into second, and one would suspect here that Maxwell is going to come on. And 77, Cohen, that is now, I believe, Pete Hosmer behind the wheel, and looks like he had a bit of an off in the chicane. Don't know.
Oh, got a problem with his right rear.
Looks
Tire looks like it's deflating.
Pit.
Either the tire's deflating or it's a drive shaft or something's gone wrong. So Pete Hosmer will have to be going into the pits now to have that looked at.
Looks like the tire's flat and starting to actually come right off of the rim itself. That's a shame. Hosmer had put the car on pole, an absolutely superb qualifying effort, and it's going away early here right now. There's a good battle as well. That's the number 10 four-door BMW, I think, with Bill Oberlin now behind the wheel, and Oberlin trying to work his way up through the pack as well. And just in front, heading into the climbing turn, is Bundy in the Panos. There's Cohen, and he is, or excuse me, that's Hosmer, and he is down in pit lane right now. And obviously they're going to be taking a look at whatever the problem was with that right rear. There it is. Looks like they're going to pull that tire right off. Back on track, and here is your leader now. That is 91 Hayner, and right with him is Maxwell, and they are now 1-2. You can see Borschler's machine, that's the Oldsmobile, running in third, but Hayner and Maxwell starting to draw away even as we speak. These two setting a very quick pace right now. I think
they really are setting an incredibly quick pace, because both these cars have stopped, changed drivers, changed tires, put fuel in, so they're set to go to the end now. So they've got some really good rubber on those cars, and boy, oh boy, they're setting a blistering pace here this afternoon. Beautiful day for racing at Lime Rock Park, up to the chicane.
Fast in terms of lap time, too. They're lapping around 55 seconds a lap, which is extremely respectable for cars of this size.
And again, in qualifying, these cars were about a couple seconds clear of everybody else, with the exception of the Panos, and that car is coming along strong as well. It's just buried a little bit further back in the pack, but Maxwell trying everything he can to stay with Hayner. And this
is the Jochen Rohr car that had that incredible crash on the opening lap. There was a bit of a schmozzle at the start. The field backed up. He tried to get out of it. 77 car still smoking there. Pete House's car. It must be some sort of a problem with the drive shaft, I'd imagine.
Wonder that, or if he got into the barriers just a little bit, whatever happened in the chicane, is it some tire rub?
Yes, the fender doesn't look right.
That's rubbing the tire, right?
Yeah.
And he obviously sensing it as well, quickly ducking into the pits. Again, mindful of that pit speed limit that the sports car has, doing a nice job of reining it in and bringing it in. I mean, Pete Hosmer really the consummate professional, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's obviously got involved in some slower traffic there, passing it, and is wrecked that fender, and of course it's cutting the tire. Doc Bundy again in the panos coming out of the chicane. Car looks good, doesn't it, Sam? Not bouncing around much, bumpy track there.
No, I think the long wheelbase is ideally suited to this, and of course as he approaches the diving turn, the aerodynamic package has got to be ideal. He probably starts down that straight faster than anybody else.
There's our two leaders just going to Big Bend. Doc Bundy just coming out of the diving turn, so he's making ground on them big time.
Well, that's a pass that looks like 4th, 3rd, and Terry Borschler, well, he held the lead and he held second. I'm sure he just doesn't want to give up the spot right now, but there he goes. He points him through and says, I know you're quicker. Go ahead. And Bundy, that should move Bundy up into 3rd spot.
That car looks like the old Cheetah, a special made out of California.
It does, doesn't it?
It really has
It
that
reminded me
feel.
of something.
And it obviously goes rather well. Got that win. And, of course, they're going to be doing that. There's a couple of teams, as I understand, in Europe that are going to be campaigning in the FIA GT Championship over there. So the Panos is going to get some fairly global racing action. And we're back on board. Pete Halsner, number 77, and the Matco racing machine brings it back out, working through Big Bend. And he's going to try and get it back up to speed to see if the problem's been eliminated. We'll let you know when we come back here at Lime Rock. Coverage of the Sports Car GT Championship on the Motorsports Hour is being brought to you by Eagle One Wet, the wet look car polish. Welcome back once again to Lime Rock. Some great racing action in the Exxon Supreme GT division of Sports Car. There's your lead duo, if you will, right now. That is the number 91 Rock Valley Oil and Chemical Camaro of Stu Hayner. But you can see he is under intense pressure right now from Scott Maxwell, number 27 in the Ford Mustang Cobra, having a good run. And you can see traffic is going to be playing a role here in short order, always a factor at Lime Rock, and they are gaining on it in big time. Now here's your GTS 3 leader right now. It's the number 39 Carolina Turkey Porsche 911, and David Murray of Atlanta, Georgia, now behind the wheel. And of course they're coming off a win at the most recent round at Road Atlanta as well, having a good run here. Let's check in with Calvin.
Well, David Murray's co-driver is Jim Matthews, and he had a great opening stint there, Jim. And you brought the car in rather early. Can you go the rest of the way on fuel, or do you need a splash at the end?
We're pretty sure that we can finish the race on the fuel that we have on board.
Obviously, that early pit stop gained you some track position over the BMW team. Do you think you have the pace out there with David behind the wheel to hold off the BMW team for the remainder of the race?
And we had a very lucky pit stop. The BMWs are definitely quicker, so it's going to be tough. We're just crossing our fingers and waiting to see what happens.
Well, these guys are on a roll. They currently lead the points, and they do come off a win at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, but Calvin, we can see the number 10 machine. That is the BMW now being piloted by Bill Oberlin, and he is all over the back of Murray's Porsche. And that is, in fact, the battle not only for the class lead, but for 3rd overall. A superb effort going on right now. Some great racing. And, you know, since last season, this is fascinating. Porsche has 6 wins in GTS 3. BMW has 5. And they are continuing this battle.
And of course, Bill Oberlin already had a long race this afternoon driving a Ferrari here at Lime Rock, so he must be getting pretty tired out, you'd think by now, but it's certainly not showing it in his driving. Really pushing here as this race winds down here, catching up the 39 car, currently leading.
You know, after an hour and a half in that Ferrari, the BMW must almost feel like a toy in his hands. It's a great opera. It's sort of a busman's holiday after the Ferrari.
And, of course, the finish he had in the Ferrari was not probably what he wanted, so he's probably seeking a tad bit of revenge, and Murray may be the driver that pays the price.
Trying to make up one more place, because David Murray, an incredibly good driver in this type of car, does a tremendous amount of it, very quick. Bill Oberlin, of course, a very experienced driver in these type of cars as well, all of them using the road, every inch of it. There's the 91 cars, pulled away a little bit.
David, I love to see this where Bill Oberlin will drive in several different classes in one weekend. I think it's fantastic to demonstrate that kind of versatility.
And doing it very well also. Taking a look now at Bundy, and that is the Panos. And apparently we got a pass as well. That is, I believe that's now Oberlin. Oh, look at this, side by side. What a dice they are having. And Murray not giving it up. He stays to the inside. He's got the line on the no-name and goes right back in front. That is great racing.
Boy, that is frustrating, too, for Bill Oberlin there, because he got it all right going into the left-hander, but, of course, then he was all wrong for the upcoming right-hander, so now he's going to struggle by and hang right on to David Murray to go through the chicane. A bit of traffic in front of Murray. That's going to hold him up just a little bit. The Mazda there.
That's the beauty.
Now, of course, he snuck through there at West Bend, so
Bill
Oberlin lost a little bit of time there.
That's the beauty of this track, though. It's not about speed only. It's often about track position as well.
Let's take a look at it here, and you can see, boy, Oberlin went around the outside of Murray into Big Bend, so he started this pass off in the toughest possible way.
He went the hard way around, but of course he couldn't quite pull it off, so he's still side by side as they go down to the left-hander.
Everything was looking good in the left-hander,
Yeah,
and finally, it was the right-hander. All of that, by the way, in front of the huge crowd here, because this S-bend area sits right in front of the hill from which this shot is being
Right
made.
where this camera is,
Yeah.
there's a huge crowd of people here this afternoon. The weather's been absolutely perfect, and a ton of people came out to watch some great racing here at Lime Rock this weekend. Memorial Day weekend, always a big weekend at Lime Rock.
And now let's go back up to the overall position battle here, and that's the number 27 Mustang, currently being piloted by Scott Maxwell, who's standing, his co-driver, as a matter of fact, standing by with Bob Gerald.
That's right. Jason Priestley is standing here charting the progress of Scott Maxwell, and in second place right now. So far, so good.
Yeah, everything was good. I did the first stint in the race, and I was actually leading the race for a while. And, Paul Newman got by me in that Panos, but the Ford Mustang's running real good, and everything's going well so far.
Was it frustrating for you at the beginning of the race to have so many laps under the yellow?
Not really, you know. Yellow flags are a part of road racing, like they're a part of all racing. It's not really frustrating. You just, you know, you hope that the reason you're having the yellow flag, you hope the person's okay, and you know, you get a little anxious to get back to racing, but it's not too bad.
All right, Jason Priestley monitoring his teammate right now. Calvin?
Well, in the number 10 machine, we have two guys teamed together who do more racing collectively, I think, than 6 other drivers put together. Bill Oberlin is currently second in GTS3, and Boris, you flew in overnight after a truck race this weekend, fastest in the warm-up. You seem to be able to adapt immediately to these different classes.
Yeah, I mean, I love just driving, and I drive all different kinds of cars, but Lime Rock's one of my favorite tracks. I grew up around here, and the M3 is the ultimate driving machine, so it's pretty easy to drive. This is a big weekend for BMW. We have about 300 people here from the corporate offices, so you know, we're going all out to win this race for them. Do a lot of hard work for us. Car's running great. Yokohama tires are great, so I think Phil will pull it off.
The Porsche with David Murray behind the wheel, obviously he's a very quick driver. How do you think they stack up, the BMW versus the Porsche around this flag?
Yeah, I mean, David's a great driver. We had a comfortable lead in the beginning of the race. We just waited a little longer to pit to make sure it wouldn't be a problem on fuel. So it's going to be a shootout at the end, but I'm putting my money on Bill and the BMW M3.
Okay, well, this team is strong, and with these two guys out there sharing the driving duties, looks like they could pull another one off.
I once asked Boris Said what would be a good year for him, and he said driving 365 straight days. Meanwhile, Doc Bundy has reeled in that silver Mustang. He's going to the inside. Ooh. Whoa, what a move down into the climbing turn. Makes it. Oh, they almost...
Whoa, made it. By crikey, only just made it.
Boy, that
more traffic in front of him now, too, coming up to West Bend.
He needed a break to pull that off, and he got it.
Boy, Maxwell got a little loose through the chicane as he was trying to regain his composure, I think, a little bit here. And he is not. Now, that was not for position, as Bundy now trying to work back to the lead lap. Earlier, we had him actually on the lead lap, but he's actually trying to regain the lead lap. He's got one more car to get by, and he'll be back on that lead lap, and he is closing on the number 91 Camaro here. So we're going to see if Doc Bundy able to get the job done and regain that lead lap when we come back here to Lime Rock in just a minute. Welcome back to Lime Rock. The action absolutely fierce here. That is the lead machine just going out of frame on your right, and right behind it, that absolutely beautiful Panos. That is the battle for real. We've had the clarification. They are on the same lap, and that's the margin. And under braking into the climbing turn, Doc Bundy closes up huge.
The car is very quick. For some reason, it loses time going down No Name Straight or coming on to No Name Straight. But coming into the Big Bend turn one, after these two very quick right-handers, the Panos seems to make up just a little bit of ground right here. So if he can draft him down the straight, mind you.
Boy, having a very strong run here, and Hayner driving down the middle of the track to defend Bundy, locks up the inside front tire, trying an outside move, didn't pay off, but obviously he is very quick. Let's check in with Hayner's co-driver who's standing by with Cal.
Roger, obviously you just realized that the Panos is on the same lap. Was Stu running a reduced pace, or was he aware and really just charging as hard as he could anyway?
Stu's going at the race pace, and we thought they were down a lap, but I don't know how much he's got for the Panos. We're going to have to find out, I guess, aren't we?
That car is obviously very tough, and you guys have been trying to put it to it all year. He came very close at Road Atlanta, fell a little shy, but at the moment, Stu's out front. Do you think he can hold on? This track, tough to overtake on.
Stu does a terrific job, and if anybody can do it, I'm confident he can.
Okay, good luck for the rest of this one.
The Panos carries so much speed down that downhill. It's just a matter of time before he gets a chance to outbrake
traffic
going
in front.
into turn.
Big time traffic now. This is going to be
the traffic in front is the GTS3 lead battle. There's the car, the Porsche. That's Murray. Third car in line is Oberlin right there, that red and white and black BMW. And look at Hayner now trying to work by them. And of course, they're in the midst of their own battle. Now, this is number 77, Halsmer. He's had quite a few problems. He's having a race with the race-winning Nissan from here last year. Got way wide, and big boy, looked like a sprint car at Ascot.
Oh,
wow.
That could have led to big trouble. The reason the Panos got a lap back on the scoring was that there was a transponder problem with their automatic scoring system. That's been fixed, and that's why we know now that he's battling for second.
Boy, what a ride by Halsmer. Very fortunate. Number 12 now having a problem on course as well. That's the Epps Baker Porsche. And here we go, up to the outside now. That's Bundy to the right, trying an outside move. He's right there, but Hayner, again, with that inside position, makes it pay. Ooh. Wow, some intense racing. Obviously, they've cleared that GTS3 battle. And these two absolutely going at it right now and doing it with some fairly concise, decisive moves in traffic as well. And there's more in front, and they're having their own little battle up there as well. So again, Hayner needs to be patient here. He has no choice. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to follow that car up the hill, and Bundy's taking a run at him.
David Murray in the GTS3 has taken a huge lead in the GTS3. That's him in the white Porsche in front of our two leaders. And Bill Oberlin has dropped way back from that race. So this is an incredible race for the lead again, as Doc Bundy looks like he's going to try and go around the outside.
Well, it looks as though Murray is absolutely determined as long as possible to get as many cars between he and Oberlin. He's not going to hold them off here on the straight. And again, Bundy gets the run. He knows Hayner's going to go down low, so he goes up high. Oh, that was a matter of inches.
Boy, Hayner can really outbrake Bundy, can't he, down at that last minute? You think Bundy's going to swing across in front of him, and Hayner's got the brakes.
And well, keep in mind, those are two different chassis. One of them, the tube-frame car, leading, built from the ground up as a race car, and behind the unibody Panos, obviously very effective unibody, but nonetheless, just a little bit different build. We'll be back to sort everything out here. It is great at Lime Rock. And back at Lime Rock, the action absolutely furious. Bundy trapped for a minute. That is your battle for the lead. There's the Camaro going out of frame, and coming into it is Bundy. I mean, that's the margin. It is that close. But it was a lot closer a lap back. Check this move out, David.
Coming through Big Bend. He gets the up, coming up there. The Panos, for some reason, hasn't been so good coming up. Gets inside there, Stu Hayner. Tries to muster his way past. Stu Hayner's not having any of it, even though he's on the outside. Doesn't let himself get pushed off line. Now he's on line for the upcoming right-hander.
The energy seems to have been Bundy's. Bundy comes up, gets close, makes a move on Hayner. Doesn't work. He drops back a couple of car lengths. Then he makes another move.
And traffic keeps foiling Doc Bundy, too. He's just not having much luck with the traffic. Stu Hayner just keeps on nipping inside back markers, leaving Doc Bundy out on the line to drive. But Doc Bundy is really, really giving Stu Hayner a tremendously tough go.
We're on board with Pete Halsmer in the number 77 BMW and GTS3 as Bundy slices by, still trying to stay in touch with Hayner, and Hayner's teammate once again with Bob Gerald.
Roger Schramm, the teammate of Hayner out there. Do you think you guys can hold off the Panos?
Well, we're going to do our best, aren't we?
Well, giving it a shot right now. Are you optimistic here? We're getting down to the waning stages.
This is turning into a great race, and we'll have to see what we've got for each other when we get down to the finish.
Is there any part on the racetrack where you think your car is better than the Panos?
Yeah, we think we've got a little bit of a power edge on the front, although the Panos is quick everywhere. Makes good horsepower. It's pretty light, as you know. Obviously handles pretty well.
It's going to be an exciting finish, guys.
It's going to be very exciting. They're talking about power, and look at that. Hayner trying to put a buffer in there, Bundy having none of it. Hayner, that is a big V8 Chevy engine, and let's not forget that Panos is powered by a Roush built Ford V8. So there's the horsepower battle, Ford versus Chevy. But again, that's not the entire equation, is it, Sam?
No, I think part of it may be the braking. Now, this Panos came from a test at Le Mans. It was being uncrated back here on Thursday, and I saw them change the brakes that are legal in Europe for the brakes that are legal over here, smaller ones, not as grippy. And I think they're feeling that want, because a couple of times Bundy has been able to carry the battle right down with Hayner into turn 1 and not quite get it done.
I think the brakes are probably comparable, but he certainly hasn't got the grunt, has he, coming out? You saw a few laps ago, you commented, coming out of Big Bend down to the first left-hander there. He lost about a car length. They were side by side. He still lost about a car length in just a very short run. It seems that the Ford's got some, the Chevrolet rather, has got a lot of grunt coming off these corners.
In fact, that very place you're talking about is coming up here, so watch these cars carefully as they exit this turn.
Henry Taylor there in front of them, of course, who's running in 8th spot. And high up in the GT3 class.
Now this is our battle for GTS 3, and right now we have the top 4 in that class literally covered by a second. Oberlin now, number 10 in the BMW, has made the move. He is 4th overall, but leading in class. His teammate is right behind him. And then the 3rd of the BMWs, Derek Hill, number 6, and then Murray, who of course was leading us a little bit ago. This is a tremendous battle. They are going after it big time right now, and Murray doing everything he can.
So number 6 has got around the 10 car there. So Derek Hill in the number 6 got around the 10 car of Bill Oberlin, and of course the Porsche is somehow got left out to dry here somewhat. He was leading quite comfortably just a few laps back.
Derek Hill is the fastest of this quartet because he was the farthest back, and he's now moved up. Here it is.
There's the move. Wide.
Oh, no.
You can see, oh.
That is a shame.
Bundy went down the inside, then went wide. Hayner squared underneath. Bundy tried to shut the door at the second apex, and it went all wrong.
Oh, no, he's right in the middle of the road there at the Big Bend. So that's about seeing that race, because he's never going to be able to catch up with the time left. So that looked like a perfect pass. He got in there again. Stu Hayner just gives no quarter, did not give up one little bit, came back and just clipped the front of Doc's car.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Got down the inside there, pretty clean. Stu Hayner left him racing room, but he went wide. He outbraked himself, went wide. Stu Hayner got back along inside. And then, of course, at this stage, Doc tries to shut the door, but it's too late. Actually, Doc Bundy almost looked like he was starting to lose it there, didn't he? I think he was getting out of a bit of oversteer there. He was going wide through the turn, and Paul Newman looking a little bit disappointed there, to say the least. He took the car into the lead. Now it's going to struggle back. So just a few minutes left, and he's going to pull it back.
Boy, Bundy's got to give it everything he's got. Not that he wasn't. We'll see how it turns out. We come back to Lime Rock here in just a minute. Welcome back to Lime Rock, and as you can see, things taking a dramatic turn here late in the going of the Exxon Supreme GT race. The Panos in pit lane, severe damage to the left front corner. Now, this isn't relating to the damage, some great racing. Bundy dives to the inside of Hayner for the lead, runs a little wide, back down to the inside, trying to get back underneath his Hayner. They come together. Bundy just loops it, and really no damage to either car, but he lost the better part of 20 or so seconds, but things got worse. Bundy out of the diving turn, runs up behind one of the Porsches, makes the move to get around, and the Porsche tried to move to get out of the way, it appeared. Bundy collects some debris all over the track, as you can see, and Bundy just too much speed to dive straight down into the pit in lane, and continues on, had to go another lap. Now he's in the pits, and Calvin Fish is there.
Okay, well, they're going to work on the bodywork here. Severe damage to the left front. They changed the left front tire, and right now we're under a full course caution, so this may help these guys a little bit with their track position. Meanwhile, they've got a tie down there. Normally used to tying the car down in the trailer. Right now they're trying to hold the front of the car on with it.
And of course, that was an absolute classic case of a driver not listening in the driver's meeting. You're always told, don't try and help the guy who is passing you or lapping you. And in that case, the guy sees him coming up really fast out of the left-hander. Doc Bundy starts to move over, and of course, what does the guy do? Tries to help, and of course, just drives right into the front of it. Very, very frustrating. It seems to be impossible for people to know how to be lapped. It just seems to be one of those things they can't learn how to do.
And currently, in the race reset, as we go green, working out of the corner, guess we'll wait on the reset and watch our leader. Again, Hayner, who's got things pretty well in hand with that pit stop, he still managed to really hang on to that lead lap all by themselves.
Well, of course, Stu Hayner now has really got it made. He's got enough fuel to get to the end of the race easy, and he's got 4 brand new tyres on, so he's going to put in some good laps. But while we were away at break there, I noticed that when he was warming his tyres up, he actually put a wheel off the edge of the road. That would have been something to write home about if he'd just ripped the right fender off going down No Name Straight. But now, I mean, he has got it so a big lead now over the rest of the field.
That's arguably, though, the only miscue, if at all, that he has made all day. I mean, when Bundy was all over him, the pressure he dealt with was tremendous.
Boy, they both drove extremely well. Doc Bundy tried that outside pass. Well, it turned into an outside pass. It went on the inside going in, then he went wide and just got right out on the gravel and the rolled-up rubber and started to lose it, and Stu Hayner just helped him on his way around. And, of course, subsequently, he had that run-in with a slower car on the front straightaway, which, of course, has rather taken the heart out of the race. Stu Hayner now just really cruising his way around.
Well, and there is our leader in GTS2 right now. Again, Larry Schumacher in that very boldly colored Porsche. And again, the series, we had a lot of smoke in the corner. Obviously, he won the championship in GTS3 last year and decided to step up, and apparently it was a good choice.
You can almost smell that tire smoke from here, can't you? Somebody's had the most amazing, huge lockup down at Big Bend there.
The action fast and furious here in the Exxon Supreme GTS race, as we've got action on course. Whoa! He looks okay. Let's take a look at what happened here.
Boy, that's Dennis Arce in the 55 car. Incredibly experienced driver. Somebody goes down the inside of him. There's a car on the outside. The guy, the 55, going down the inside there. Then he just clips that edge. I've never seen that happen before here at all. Just
nothing he could have done about that. That had nothing to do with experience or anything else.
Thank God. That tire wall just came in the nick of time. They would have bounced again.
Well, as the other car was spinning, the right rear tire on Arce's car hit it, and it crumpled in the fender enough that it looked like the tires actually hooked, and it became an open wheel incident. And we are on the white flag lap, and out front all by himself, number 91, driven by Stu Hayner, the Rock Valley Oil and Chemical Camaro, has things well in hand, working through West Bend one last time, heading toward that diving turn, and no doubt a very, very relieved group will be taking the checkered flag here. Here he comes out of the final corner. Watch for it here as he hammers down the straight. And, well, look at that. A crew very happy indeed. Stu Hayner brings it home after a very event-filled, fraught race.
Wow, I've never seen such an event-filled hour of racing in my life. Incredible. This is the battle for second place. The number 99 is leading GT2. Number 6 is leading GT3. But, of course, Derek Hill driving that number 6 car, anxious to come second overall. What a feather in their cap that would be. But, of course, he certainly wouldn't want to mess up any championship points by making too brave an effort here, but it's going to be close.
Sam, you made a very good point about how smart he is, although it looks like Schumacher backed up, but it looked like Hill eased off a little bit. He knew he had the win, didn't want to do anything silly. So Schumacher wins GTS2 with a second overall finish, and Derek Hill, behind the wheel of that car, wins GTS3 in a remarkable third overall. Interesting, 3 different classes in the top 3, and a happy overall crew right there for the Rock Valley Oil and Chemical team of number 91. So a superb effort. We get word that the driver, there he is, the driver who took that flip over there, is out and is obviously fine, just sitting there chatting with the safety crew. And 99, Larry Schumacher, your GTS2 winner, and we saw him coming across the finish line pumping his fist. He is very happy indeed, making the move up from the GTS3 division to GTS2, obviously paying off. Did a nice job.
He did an excellent job. A lot of people did some great races. There's been a lot of great racing. Stu Hayner, driving this number 91 car, just drove excellently all afternoon, really never put a foot wrong.
Under that terrific pressure from Doc Bundy.
Terrific pressure from Doc Bundy.
And it not only involved fast driving, but a lot of tactical moves, and he did it all.
Stu Hayner getting congratulations from the crew. Well deserved. He's going to unbuckle, get out and relax for a minute, and we'll be back to wrap things up here at Lime Rock in just a minute. Coverage of the SportsCar GT Championship on the Motorsports Hour has been brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the Cars More Champions Trust, and by the new Motel 6. The new Motel 6 is renovating across America. Call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6 for reservations. And as the 4th round of the Exxon Supreme GTS Championship has drawn to a close here at Lime Rock, Very exciting finish, no doubt. And winning it overall, number 91, the Camaro of Roger Schramm and Stu Hainer. What a brilliant drive. Second was the overall. But in the GTS2 class, the winner, 99, Larry Schumacher, doing a superb job. And in GTS3, Derek Hill brought it home for the win in the number 6 BMW. Let's send it down and visit with our overall winners. Bob?
And Roger Schramm and Stuart Hainer get the job done today. Congratulations to both of you guys. And Stuart, during the second half of that race, you and Doc Bundy really had a great battle out there.
Well, he definitely had the car hooked up. He had a little bit more straightaway speed, and he could get inside of me under in turn 1. And a couple times he went the outside, and he couldn't do that because I was really stuck well on the inside. And finally, he tried a real bonsai move on the inside. Went a little bit wide. I stuck to my inside, and when he came back in, we rubbed a little bit. And I think I got him a little loose, and unfortunately, that's racing. But anyway, he did a great job. I thought he did a wonderful job. We rubbed a little bit a couple laps before that in turn 3. And I just want to thank Roger for getting me such a great car. You know, when I got in, it was a perfect car, and the crew gave us a good car this weekend. We were able to put it on the pole. And the crew really just did a wonderful job all weekend. You know, as usual, they just did a great job.
And congratulations to our two winners, Stuart Hainer and Roger Schramm. Calvin Fish is standing by with the winners in the next class, GTS3. Calvin?
Okay, and third overall, a great run, guys. Javier, you put the car out front early and turned over in that caution period to Derek, and he certainly did a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I think the team made a great job. This is a teamwork. I gave the car to Derek, I think, in a good position. And Derek just drove like I never have seen him. I mean, he's a crazy guy, this one. Thank you.
Great job today, and Bob Gerald has the winner in GTS2.
John Osteen and Larry Schumacher, and John, nice job there to bring home the win.
Well, that was a heck of a run for the Schumacher Quebecor Porsche. I mean, the car worked great. The team just worked hard and made it work all weekend, and everything went well. 2 in a row. This is fantastic for the team.
As you would expect, big smiles from the winners down here.
Boy, very happy indeed, and understandably, as we get a final look at our overall winner, a great drive by Stu Hainer. Once again, as we see the celebrations going on down in pit lane, we're glad you could join us. It was a great race. We look forward to seeing you here next time. Take care.